Tippy time my damies, Topgate here and welcome back to the channel. I love me a good glaive build, and in times past warlocks have had some doozies. This was in large part to three exotics, the Necrotics, the Karnsteins and the Winter's Guile. These gave us an area of effect damage, health and power. We had some toxic strand melee builds paired with those Necrotics, that tick damage working with both our needles and our glaive. The Karnsteins gave us cure and restoration to give a bit more survivability to those classes that naturally didn't have some, like stasis and arc. The Winter's Guile done tremendous power, but you really had to dive in there deep to keep it spun up at that full strength, so it really did require that Voidlock and its Devour. Now though, with our exotic class item, we've smashed all those best attributes together in one build. It's versatile enough to solo, run and gun and run raids in. First up, we're going to be taking the Necrotics and using that strand melee combo. Using that tick damage to trigger unravel particles over and over again. The poison is however a lesser form though than the straight up Necrotics, only doing 31,000 in damage compared to 67,000 of the OGs, but this shouldn't really worry us as it will still do 2 poison ticks a second, sending that strand everywhere. So every attack rotation we start with that melee. This will grant us Devour, giving us that immediate health back so we can get in the thick of it and go balls to the wall with that pointy stick. Now we don't have that Winter's Guile, but we do have the Synthoceps trait. One can argue this is even stronger than the Guile, as it's easier to activate purely by getting surrounded. A base glaive strike hits for 16,888, with Synthos we do 33,775. Unfortunately though, this doesn't buff that necrotic tick damage. The Excalibur is still my go-to glaive for this build, but if you do have a favourite legendary, it will also work well here too. I chose it because it's got immovable. When dealing range damage, we are granted increased shield energy. And with Perpetual Loophole, this gives us bonus melee damage whilst protected by an overshield. It doesn't need to be a full shield either, just as a small smidge will do. But this will also chain overshields off the back of our melee kills. To get that overshield, we will use our intrinsic trait, simply block a little damage, and we eke out a little shield. Then just simply jab jab, full shield, and another 20% bonus weapon damage. If Transcendent, we also see another 5% boost to their weapon damage, pushing our glaive's melees to 42,556. Transcendent is actually what made me make this build now. Initially I thought kinetic weapons generate light and dark energy, but it's kinetic damage. And despite glaives having an elemental affinity, their melees do kinetic damage, thus giving us huge amounts of Transcendence uptime. My favourite weapon to pair with this kit is Onslaught's Blast Furnace. It's got one for all, and importantly it's got kinetic tremors. This perk is absolute S tier for any Transcendent build, as we can hit multiple targets at once to feed us both prismatic bars. Facet of Grace will grant us even more Transcendence energy when we defeat with kinetic damage. Additionally, it's also going to feed us Transcendence energy when we get super kills. With Devotion, we get bonus light Transcendence energy when we kill targets that are debuffed by either stasis or strand. We've already got those unravel particles flying everywhere thanks to our tick poison, but we're going to double down using that stasis Bleak Watcher turret. This is going to feed our darkness bar as Devotion balances it out. As we've already got that Devour perk activated from that melee at the start of our assault, we can plop this out every 10 to 15 seconds. We pair this with Facet of Command. When freezing or suppressing a target, our equipped weapon is reloaded. This comes in handy when facing those thicker targets, particularly those champions. Luxo has it, the Warlock Prismatic does both suppression and freeze, so if played correctly, we rarely have to manually reload our weapons. Our shatter kills are also more vicious with that Facet of Ruin, These kills often just happen unbeknownst to us, as that corruption plus unravel plus shatter just clears out rooms without any hesitation. We've got 2 important artifact perks. If using the Excalibur, we've got full-time overshields. This is going to make our melees regenerate faster and hit 25% harder. These will be stronger again with transference. This makes both our melees and grenades stronger whilst we are transcendent. And whilst in this pink mode, any glaive kills are also going to refund us Priz energy once we come out of it, so we can circle back around into it nice and quick. Our last fragment is protection, giving us that 15% damage resist whilst surrounded, very important for any glaive builds. Feel free to pause here for all my fragments, aspects, mods, build armor stats and artifact, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. This build has flexibility with its mods, it doesn't rely on them, so you can set up for raids, GMs, whatevs. You can also run whatever super you like, so if you've got a Void Surge or an Arc Surge on that GM, run that super. I like Solar myself, as we can still use our weapons mid-super, making it very handy whilst dealing with champions. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What is your favourite legendary glaive? Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.